teachers, the Pilot Point Elementary will be focusing on growth this year. When we talk about growth, it's going to be all the way from the bottom to the top, growth for each student, the growth of each teacher, and the growth of the administrators. John Dewey said, education is an accumulation of experiences that stimulate both growth and the capacity for further growth. And we're going to concentrate really on further growth. And what we're going to do here is something that we've not done in the past. And this is something that Ray and I have been talking about. And it really comes from a standpoint of finances. So in the past, when I would plan for a STEAM lesson, I had the materials and I would put in a purchase order for them, and a lot of times I couldn't prepare in advance because of all the other things that were going on. So what I would do is spend my money and then ask for a reimbursement. The business office does not like that because that's the first thing, that's a huge flag for auditors. But with my schedule, that's the only way I could do it unless I had the whole year planned out in advance. With that being said, they want us to be able to submit a materials list maybe twice a year, so I'm going to need lesson plans for the rest of the year. With Ray and I, when we were talking about this, we decided we would ask for you guys to help us out. It's not going to be, it's going to be a little bit of a burden, but not a huge burden. But we need to look at it as a learning curve. We're going to grow a little bit. We're just going to do one lesson for the year. So take a deep breath. We're going to look at it like this. So this is this year's plans. So we've already done doing science with the science tools. This is the past week that we just did. The next week is right here. If we look at September the 9th, we're going to do matter. It's 4 weeks, but we're going to do one lesson. This lesson would last 2 weeks. This lesson would last 2 weeks. And I've assigned teachers over here. And I will be there to assist you, but let me show you how easy it's going to be. So here are the assignments. We'll talk about that a little bit. So you're going to be our STEAM team, and this is a Google Doc that you're going to get. So we're going to be able to see each of the lessons coming together with ideas. So the objective is to work on this a little at a time, except for the first two that would be Miss Ballantyne and Resendez. I will work with you and we'll try and get those up and running pretty quickly, but they will see these columns being populated as we begin to work on them. So for example, so Miss Ballantyne's going to do matter, and she'll get with Miss Resendez and they'll decide what they really want to do for matter. They can look in their Science Fusion book, understanding this is going to go through pre-K through 2nd grade. I usually targeted 1st grade TEKS, so that's probably where let's say it this way. That's where we will start. We will all use the 1st grade TEKS in planning this lesson, because they can either bring them down for the younger ones, or you can differentiate and make them a little bit harder, but keep all that in mind when you're planning. So here are the columns that we're going to populate in the next 4 weeks. All these columns will be full in the next 4 weeks. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. Okay, so a little part of your lesson plan, maybe 10 minutes for the next 4 weeks. For example, Miss Ballantyne, we're going to pick a book that would go along with your topic here. You've seen me do it for a year now, most of you. The new ones, it's really easy to pick up. Pick a poem. This comes from an intermediate request. Kids don't know their poems. They don't know. They want us to practice poems. So I'm bringing poems in like I did last year as an intermediate request. An activity. What are we going to do with the tables in the STEAM lab? On this one, in the Google Doc, you can just add as much as you want to right there. Just keep going with it. That would include any learning. This over here would be learning videos that would be in the STEAM lab for the kids to see. You can make up one like I've been, and also you also want one to preload. So something that you're going for the teachers to show in the classroom before they come to the STEAM lab. And most importantly, I need a list of everything. I do have a pretty good budget, but don't go crazy on me because I think I maybe have $2,000. I'm not sure, but that's not a lot when it comes to a whole year's worth of lessons. So do what you can. In my lockers, I've got tons of things. When you start planning your lesson, go look what I've got. They're in the lockers, they're in the shelves, or in the cabinet. It's yours. Just go and look and see if you have an idea if I've got what you need. If not, ask me and we'll see how we can get it. Also, materials, I am going to print out a teacher list of materials. For example, I did it last year, but I will have a list of all the teachers in their classes. And say Miss Ballantyne's class, your class is going to bring cotton balls. Miss Resenda's, your class is going to bring straws. Each teacher will bring one item from the dollar store. This would be sent out to the parents. So every child in Miss Resenda's class is going to bring one package of straws from the dollar store. So $1 per child, and it will help a lot. So I will do that once I see kind of your list, and if I see a lot of materials that are duplicated, then I'll know that that's what I need to put on the list. So I will send this out, and we are going to start picking some literature. Make sure that the literature you pick is a read aloud on YouTube that you can download, or you can also, if you can't find a book except for in the library, you can read it yourself and download that. That's the hardest way to do it. So if you can, well, it is also hard to find a book that matches what you're trying to do in the STEAM lab, but it's not impossible. I've done it for a year, so that's kind of what we're doing. So motion's going to be 3 weeks. So Gorman, Malone, and Montez, if you'll get together, make sure you don't duplicate, I guess. Make sure that you're all covering 3 different types of motion. Don't forget we got the B-bots. And another thing is I will have all my sample lessons out for the last 2 years so that you can look and get some ideas. So here is what a basic lesson looks like. You've seen them. I'll send this template out and you will just fill it in. So STEAM lesson, you'll have the title here and the date. I don't know where that went, but you pick the book and the link to it and the author. Here's a poem. I think there's a couple of them here with the link. So a lot of times with links you can print them out, but you can also get other items from that website that would go along with plants, maybe a worksheet or a journal sheet. So that's why I include the link, because there's always a little bit more than just a poem. Here's a video to watch. This is an example of one that was in the lab when we did plants. First activity, second activity. It's always nice if you could or can include pictures. That's what we did here. Give detail. Make sure this goes at the top. It kind of switched on me, but make sure you include your objectives. Here they are. And I guess another thing you do need to know is that, like in the STEAM lab, I always have the anchor charts that I make, the vocabulary card. So all that, you're going to need to make sure that all that's on the board. But remember, you're only going to do it one time. Now, in order to make this all work, I'm going to teach you all how to do a screencast, which is what I'm doing right now with this frame around it and recording my awful voice on all these videos when I'm really tired late at night and can't talk clearly. But anyway, I'll show you how to do that. Now, one of the benefits of learning how to do Screencast-O-Matic is you could really clone yourself, which is amazing. You could do a mini lesson and have it on the interactive screen while you're doing a small group. There's so much you can do. I think we're going to learn. I know we will. We're going to learn. We're going to grow from this experience. So let's do it with a great attitude, with a growth mindset, and I'm here to help. And I think it's going to be great. So let's take off. I'm here if you need me. Let's all grow together.